Let's freeze both the rotation and the position and see how to do that in Unity. Alright, we found ourselves back in Unity once more, and in this tutorial we're going to be talking about how you can freeze the rotation and the position of a game object with a rigid body. So this is very important, and where I want to do this is on my bolt right here. So the already existing project right here is available to you in the description below as a Unity package for download, so you can basically get the exact same package. And one of the reasons that we run into is if I fire my bolt, you can see once it hits something, well, it starts rotating like a wild. Now, there's a couple of ways that you can basically fix this. In the bolt itself, under the rigid body, right, so this is going to be the bolt prefab, we can freeze the Z rotation. And if I were to do this and I make sure that the same thing applies to the already existing prefab or game object, then what I can do is I can do this and I can go in here and you can see all of a sudden it stops and it freezes. So that is one way to definitely do this. Now, the reason why it still rotates, right, because you might be like, wait a second, we've frozen the rotation. The reason why it rotates right here is because of the following. If I go into the bolt projectile C# script that we've attached to the bolt, you can see we're actually changing the rotation based on the transform and not based on the rigid body. So that is the very, very important thing to keep in mind. While the rotation is frozen in the rigid body, we can still change the rotation in the transform component. That is a very, very important thing. And to think about it a little bit more is, so in the shoot, right, we're actually adding a force to the rigid body. So once again, now, if I were to, for example, say I'm going to freeze the Y position, what do you imagine is going to happen now if I fire this? Well, wait a second, the force is applied via the rigid body. So if I restrict the Y position, look at this. All of a sudden, it is no longer allowed to ever go into the Y position, no matter what type of force is applied in the Y position. So that is the idea of the constraints. Freezing the rotation here in Z is really useful because this was a physics-based rotation that happened there. However, the rotation that's happening based on its velocity happens directly to the rotation transform. Hopefully that can be useful to some people. Next time in this video, we'll actually add some 2D lights in Unity. Hope to see you there. So, yeah.